Although edited for television, tonight's thriller contains scenes of suspense and violence which may be unsuitable for young viewers. Parental discretion is advised.
State-of-the-art Japanese animation.
Alright, we're here sitting in the apartment.
We're all in the same room together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, isn't this so exciting?
This is a first.
This is what we had originally planned on.
Yeah, the first but not the last. Slash, when I move back, we'll pick it back up like this.
Slash,
in the
I'm
future.
glaring at you for moving away. Just kidding.
I know. Yeah. I glare at myself on the inside.
No, when you were talking about moving away, I was like, damn, he's doing something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah,
and
but now I
he's
can.
fucking doing
Yeah,
it.
but now I can tell you. Like, I mean, yeah. What was the point of me moving away? It was to discover if I am in Baltimore because I grew up here and I just never left, or like, I mean, it's possible that maybe just doing the same shit with the same people forever isn't the best life I could live, and maybe the grass is greener on the other side. And I felt like, all right, I'll move somewhere totally different and try totally different things. And I've come to the conclusion that actually doing the same shit with the same people is the best life I could possibly live. And Baltimore really is better than every other city. There's really no reason to live somewhere else other than here, in my opinion. You're not missing anything. You might as well just stay.
Great, cool. I'm glad I didn't have to move away to find that out.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like that's definitely something that I want to do.
There was a period where I was going to move to Texas. My friend Justin was there.
Right.
Before I was in a serious relationship or anything, I was like, yeah, Texas could be interesting. My friend's out there, and I think he's miserable out there, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to break into the anime scene, Texas is the best place to do it.
Well, he left here for...
The blessed place.
yeah,
Computer work, right?
Computer work, yes. But his mother had passed away, and he hates his he doesn't hate, but he very strong disliking for some of his family.
Word.
Well, that's the bad taste
that.
in his mouth. So it was I feel like different reasons you want to move,
I mean,
Wrong
I
thing.
always felt like Baltimore was just like the closest city to move to, and that's like why I moved. But also, I feel like I don't really have too much of an attachment to this place, so like I can move anywhere if I wanted.
I mean, you're close to Wilmington, Delaware.
True, but nobody who lives in Maryland moves to Delaware. That's like taboo.
Yeah. that's all
Marylanders
true.
always talk
Yeah, that's
about
true.
Delawareans like
Unless you want the
they stupid. Don't move to Delaware. Delaware sucks.
unless you want the tax-free shopping.
Yeah.
They got a really good mall, so
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't frown upon Delaware. It's a nice state. I've played some gigs there over the years, and
They got
they
good
were small
beaches.
and reasonable. Yeah.
If we all move again, we'll move to Delaware.
we'll move all together to Delaware. Well, we could also move into Dan's idea of the anime house, where we all get a house together and combined all of our collections into one collection.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's like an anime
Hell
frat
yeah.
house, and
Holy
like
shit.
Yeah.
we garner new members through conventions and podcast lovers,
Well,
or
my new-
podcast fans.
My new dream, I've abandoned that dream. My new dream
damn
is, my new dream is that Morgan and I are going to move into the Bunny Hotel. I want to take her small business idea of doing the rabbit rescue / boarding facility and run with it.
Well, I guess that's kind of
Have a house
fitting
full of rabbits.
because all of us are born in the year of the rabbit.
Really?
Yes, we are. The
1987?
rabbit. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the year of the rabbit.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It's like you're just a certain way because you're born in the way of the rabbit. Like when I went to
Interesting.
Japan, it was the year of the rabbit.
Right.
So when I
Good
went to
year for you
Japan,
to go.
yeah, it was super good, and I got a ton of like rabbit stuff, like rabbit chopsticks, rabbit like keychains and charms and good luck things.
Oh, that's cool.
Hell yeah!
Year of the rabbit.
Yeah. I had
What
no
is the
idea.
year? What year is it now? Year of the ox?
The year of Trump.
Penguin. Trump?
Snake? I think it's a snake. But I'm not up on that.
Slytherin.
Slytherin. I feel like that would be my Harry Potter house if I had one.
Never took the test?
No.
I had to take the test. I read 4 of the books.
I have read all of the books,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
Try reading them as an adult.
No, I'm
as a
good.
32-year-old adult.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, really, you didn't like it as an adult.
No, I enjoyed them. I think I got Harry Pottered out.
Word.
Yeah, I think I just needed a break.
Because they have a good reputation as like, oh, you could read this at any age. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender is like, well, it's so mature and thoughtful, even an adult could like it. But
I think sort of the allure of reading it as a child, or at least when it was popular, was that everyone was reading it. And like you kind of did it as a collective experience. Now it's sort of, all right, I'm doing it for my own enjoyment, which is fine. And I can talk about it with Kara because she's an addict.
Into it.
Word, that's cool.
But yeah.
I feel like the biggest appeal of reading it now would be to watch J.K. Rowling go berserk on the internet and just like twist and turn her franchise in various ways and watch people's reactions to it.
Well, we watched the new film, the newest. It's the book, Beasts of the spin-off.
Oh, the one where it's like a guy and he's got
That's
little
definitely Indian
animals.
food.
Oh yeah, so it is. Excuse me.
We have Indian food arriving.
Okay, we're back. Amelia has agreed to eat now. So let's get right into the
And for this special, we have Guilty Pleasure Anime. Yes. Amelia was the brainchild.
What qualifies? I mean, on the one hand, I don't really feel guilty about it. Not like a lot of so do we really need to like feel how we watch these things, or is it more like I acknowledge this? Okay.
For sure.
Right,
I like a
because
lot of shitty stuff. My whole taste is trash.
when I think of guilty pleasure TV, I think of reality TV shows like The Bachelor.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like lots of people think
Yeah.
it's weird that as a 33-year-old man, I watch a lot of Dawson's Creek and
The OC. Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl for sure. The OC is upcoming for me.
Oh, you haven't watched it
I
yet?
haven't watched it yet.
Shit, the OC is so good.
Yeah,
That
this
might
shit's
be-
awesome.
Like Gossip Girl, obviously top tier, but like OC is like second tier.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I hear.
Oh,
Yeah, Valerie and I are perpetually on the cusp of getting ready to watch it, but we keep getting distracted. Yeah.
OC is so good. I'm glad I didn't watch it when it aired though, because there was so much hype around it. And
I have not watched it, but it makes me think of Blood. Was it Blood? What was that HBO show? Thirst or something?
Are you talking about the vampire?
The vampire show.
Damn it! What the fuck is that?
Twilight?
Called? True Blood. What are you
True
talking-
Blood.
True Blood.
Oh,
okay.
True Blood
Yeah.
is my shit, dude.
I remember when you
watched
used
it.
to watch that show.
Shit, I love that show. I love anything with vampires, like, and that kind of like thing in anime and in real life.
Is True Blood actually trashy though?
I mean,
It's kind of a soap opera,
well,
right?
technically HBO is not trash because it's
Yeah.
HBO,
It's prestige TV.
but there's lots,
But I think
there's lots
you
of
can-
sex in it, and,
yeah.
it's wonderful.
I think it can be a soap opera-like show without being trashy. And my example of that is Grey's Anatomy, which is my favorite TV show ever, and I'm currently rewatching it for like the 5th time in my life. Grey's Anatomy and One Piece are the two television franchises that just perpetually give me life, and I need them. And Grey's Anatomy is not trashy at all, in my opinion, but it is like basically a souped up soap opera. But I would argue that it's not actually trashy because people don't generally have inappropriate emotional outbursts, or like their feelings in the show are like relatively, like understandable and relatable, and they're navigatable, is different than like Gossip Girl or Dawson's Creek, where people are like always flailing their feelings left and right and having these like inappropriate emotional outbursts at the drop of a dime, which is what makes it trashy, but also what makes it so fucking entertaining and cool.
But if you were to tell somebody you're watching these shows, would you feel embarrassed? Would you be embarrassed?
I will say that I was explaining to some Japanese friends of mine. We were on tour in Portland, Oregon, and I was watching Grey's Anatomy, just watching the latest episode on somebody's on demand. And Kiyasu and Kai were like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And I was like, "It's a television show meant for middle-aged stay-at-home moms, but I'm a big fan. I watch it."
Yeah, all the shows I like are meant for like tweens who haven't discovered their own feelings yet.
Yeah.
All right, so then that brings to the question: how do you relate that to Japanese anime? And as an American fan, because in Japan, I feel like just to be an otaku is taboo to begin with. Mm-hmm. Here, it's a little bit more acceptable. We wear our shows on our shoulder, like with pride. And
yes.
I watch the show.
Prideful otakus over here.
Sure.
I mean, like, honestly, I'll tell you whatever show I'm watching. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't feel guilty about anything that I watch. But I do recognize that I watch a lot of shit. And I like it still.
I actually don't think it's that taboo to be like a big anime guy in Japan either. And maybe, my perspective is slanted because I'm not Japanese and I don't live in Japan. But in my many times going to Japan, if I make the kaiji zawa, zawa, zawa sounds, everybody in the room knows what I'm talking about and thinks it's funny. I don't know. It's feasible that they're pity laughing at me, that they are actually embarrassed and think it's hilarious that this white, gaijin is acting like such a fucking tool. But I want to believe that they actually are kaiji fans as well, that, I'm taking their words at face value, that they also like get the reference and find it funny.
Wait, have you been to the JoJo bar?
I have not been to the JoJo bar, but
Would it be weird
if
you struck a pose in the middle of the room, like a JoJo pose?
I don't think so. They got to be used to it, don't you think?
I've only seen the first season, so I don't know how.
There's an Evangelion cafe in Shibuya right now that my friend sent me an internet link to. It looked pretty cool, so I'd like to go to that next time around too.
Was that a www dot?
It was on the internet, yeah.
Just let everyone know there's an Initial D tuner car shop that you can go to if you're like Initial
that's
D.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's probably in the middle. I think it's in the middle of nowhere, off of some mountain, as you'd imagine it to be. But yeah, I feel like Japanese. Maybe it's the generational thing where the elderly are more critical.
Yeah. Well, in my own perspective, for what it's worth, I think it's more analogous to, I don't know, like the same way that like we watch cartoons or consume youth culture in general, right? Like, I mean, nobody, like, if you are listening to, well, I don't know, it's not necessarily the same, but I'm thinking of like if you're an adult and you're listening to like Blink-182, like nobody actually thinks that's really embarrassing or something, it's just like whatever you're into. But it's different if you like, are an adult with the Blink-182 hat and t-shirt and tattoo and you're like, oh, have you heard the newest Blink-182 record? Yeah. Like then it's kind of like, well,
you're like, man, you stuck in some kind of era that you need to get out of.
Yeah.
That is a phase of your life that happens in middle school and then
yeah, because at least everyone I know over there, maybe they're just humoring me because they know that I'm into anime, but I can have reasonable conversations about what is the latest anime on TV and what's hot and what's not in Japan, and I enjoy conversing with people over there. And even like when I was on tour with Disclose, I remember having a long conversation about Hunter x Hunter with some of the staff at the bar next door to Punk Tribe Reservation in Nagoya. I feel like people are into this stuff. I think it's like, I think it's more like when we think of how Japanese people are embarrassed about otaku-ness in the West, I think it's more like the influx of like awkward Westerners that go over there and are like, dressed as cat people and being like, oh, you are so kawaii, miss. Can I take your picture? And like, konnichiwa, motherfucker. I'm from the USA. Do you also love Bleach?
This is the universal no sign.
Yeah.
Girl up your exes.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's like, I mean, nobody. Yeah, exactly. And I think there is the stereotype of Westerners going to Japan and acting like this, and I think that brings more of a sense, like because these people will come home and be like, well, actually, nobody in Japan likes anime at all. I couldn't make any friends over there. It's like, well, yeah, it's not really because they didn't like anime. It's because they're like normal. Yeah, because they're normal ass human beings that also like some anime in the same way that they like 50,000 other enjoyable things in their lives.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that it's not the mecca that every American otaku thinks it is. It's not. It's not what you expect.
Sections that are
right,
but no.
It's still very niche.
Yeah, you got to hit the outdoor mall.
Knocking on Broadway.
Yeah, Knocking on Broadway. That's right. Yeah. Got to hit Flower Records and then hit Knocking on Broadway Mall. Then if you got enough time, you got to go to the Disc Union around the corner from Knocking on Broadway Mall. Went there with Sash and the drummer of Slow Motions along the way, and I found some very good records. They were very very hidden little Disc Union. It was a little tiny one. It was really good.
The guilty pleasure. Before we dive in, let's think about guilty pleasure American cartoons.
Oh shit! I think that I didn't. I think I didn't get into anime because of American cartoons because they were so cringy to me. Like my sister would sit and watch Total Drama Island for like hours and hours, and I just could not get into the characters. But then, as soon as you fucking give me, a little boy with, ninja spears and shurikens, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it.
Well, I was watching Dororo last night, and just two.
Just
two
Roros.
Dororo.
Can we all, let's all say it.
Dororo. And I couldn't help but compare it to Avatar because I've been watching Avatar as well, and just the lack of death in Avatar. We talked about this before, like in our second or third episode. But I was just thinking about the differences in pacing, and there's times of breath, where there's stillness in anime. And then there's action. Like in a Akira Kurosawa movie, there's a sort of pause, and then it changes pace. I don't know why I was going to link that back. I had it in my head but it made sense to me.
Oh,
but I guess American TV.
American cartoons.
Yes, well, Avatar. I'm just thinking about Avatar and the fact that it's not a guilty pleasure. I think it's pretty acceptable to watch it at any age, and now that it's back on Netflix.
Yeah, especially now that it's on Netflix, everyone's watching it, and they're like, "Oh my god, Avatar!" I've never seen Avatar, even now. I've never seen Avatar.
You have not seen Avatar.
I have not. We should do a whole episode on things I have not seen because it is shocking. Yeah. Because instead, I watch all of these shitty shows for the guilty pleasure anime episode.
It's fair.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, my aunt used to watch Rugrats, and she'd had Rugrats plushies and things like that. And she'd watch anime. She actually kind of got me into anime. She'd watch Dragon Ball. She lives in New York City. And she's real hip.
She a hip aunt.
She lives in Jamaica, Queens. Or at least she used to. No, she lives in Jamaica, Queens. Anyway, she, so as a kid, I'm going, oh, well, she can watch anime and watch cartoons as an adult. Right. And I think that's another part of the guilty pleasure aspect is well, is it old enough? Am I old enough to watch this show?
You're old enough to watch whatever you want to watch. Jeff.
Is Hamtaro too young?
No.
Is that a guilty pleasure? Because I have that on my list.
I mean,
as a guilty pleasure.
Goldfish Warning, so
Hey, I love Goldfish Warning.
I know, me too. Which is also a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yes. So I think this is a good example, a good starting point.
Yeah.
Younger shows geared towards younger audiences. Guilty pleasure.
DG Charat? Am I saying that right? DG Charat?
DG Karat. Yeah. When I remember it being pronounced Karat, but
DG.
Charata. That's an old school one. Have you watched DG Charat? Yeah, it's short episodes, right?
3 minutes. damn, I love these matches. And you know, normally I'm like especially like on my seasonal like chart reads or like whenever I watch seasonal, I shit on short form like 15-minute episodes. Like, why would I even spend my time? But then I'm like, here I am, like watching all of this.
Yeah, House of Manga Dio is quick episode, right there.
I've been thinking a lot about House of Manga Dio. I read a interesting little, I guess, online discussion thread about this show that was remarking about how it is the spiritual predecessor to the rise of moe in the West, and that is such a like pivotal show in the development of anime as a medium. And specifically anime popularity in the West, and it's kind of been forgotten by time.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, forgotten anime.
Is it forgotten? I don't forget about it.
I think it is for the new generation of fans, which could be a whole other episode of forgotten anime.
I used to make I don't know if you know this, but I used to make phone cases that were made out of felt that were modeled after the cat in Awesome Manga Dio.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Same eyes and the same shape and stuff. And
very cool.
There's like a zipper. You can put your little phone in there.
Hell yeah.
Interesting though, the whole initial moe phase. Yeah, it's interesting to think about.
And it's the start of a lot of internet, I guess what became internet culture and meme, right? And I'm thinking the discussion thread specifically was revolving around when the creepy teacher has a beautiful picture of a beautiful woman fall out of his jacket pocket, and all the students are like, wow, she's gorgeous, who the fuck is that? And the guy's like, my waifu. And then that was the beginning of my waifu.
My waifu.
Yeah.
Shit. Gotta go back and watch that. Maybe that's another review.
Yeah, that's probably the one we should go back and
everyone needs to watch that one.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I mean, Jeffrey was the one that showed it to me at Anime Club in DCAD.
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Is it still available on DVD at this point?
Yeah.
Didn't it go out of print?
I don't know.
Was it ADV who licensed it first?
That's not a question for me.
Genion. He was Genion. Remember Genion?
Was it Megacorps?
Or Orion? Quietness.
Sure. Yeah. Good question.
That's like Akira versus distro, things like that. Probably Wicked City. Yeah. The new intro I made has an Orion where the party goes Japanese anime.
Ooh,
That's from an Orion trailer.
What I remember most clearly is the manga trailers that used to come on. They were like on VHS of like G.I. Joe and Transformers stuff. They would have manga trailers, and it would just be like clips of bodies exploding and like magic and shit. And it would be like, this ain't your parents' cartoons.
Yep.
I was like, damn, man, that's some real shit.
That
looks cool. Yeah.
My parents would not watch that.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this. I don't remember if we talked about it on air, but my parents had such a weird arbitrariness to their sense of parental oversight, and in my own life, growing up, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted as long as I kept straight A's and stayed out of legal trouble. And I was basically allowed to watch whatever I wanted either. So I would rent, when I was like in middle school and high school, I would rent like all these crazy Japanese horror movies and all these like cannibal and zombie films and splatter stuff. But then out of nowhere, my mom would be like, you're too young to watch X-Files. You're not allowed to watch X-Files.
My parents would watch X-Files in the same room as me when I was growing up, and I would literally have nightmares.
Really?
Yeah.
It's creepy. It is legitimately creepy.
It is when you're little. Like,
first season especially.
When I'm in elementary school, like that shit's creepy. Also, my dad used to watch right after X-Files, or like in the Saturday block or the Friday night block, would also be America's Most Wanted. And that shit fucked me up. I would sit in the kitchen with my hands over my ears because it fucked me up so much. Like I couldn't I guess my mom was like probably like doing something like making a Halloween costume or like working on something, so I'd want to hang out with my mom. But then also I could hear America's Most Wanted, and I would be like, oh my god, I'm gonna have so many nightmares.
Yeah, this fucking serial killer is just lurking right outside your window.
Yeah, and it's like real people. Like, dude, ew.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been caught yet.
Because they're lurking under your bed.
Exactly.
Police haven't looked there yet.
Who wants to start with their top? Well, we'll say bottom anime that they want to share.
I
with
could
us.
just give you the two that everyone has probably watched and probably knows about me. But obviously Orimo and Aramanga Sensei are the two for sure guilty pleasures. Like those are shows that are like legitimately like seen as bad for like the general anime like community, but I don't know if like little sister animes, I don't know, maybe because I have a little sister that like they just like speak to me, so like I enjoy them so much. I don't know, have you guys seen Orimo or Aramanga?
I watched a couple episodes of Aramanga Sensei because I know you like it. Frances was having a difficulty, so I was over at her place and she was kind of sleeping on and off because she was pretty sick, and I was just watching on her TV, so I put on a few episodes. Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. I thought it was really boring.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
Like Sagiri is literally a character that I envy so much because she has infinite time. She draws hentai in her, like, I guess free time. I don't know if you want to call it free time, but, like, what she does with her life is draw hentai for, like, mangakas and illustrate, like, hentai artwork for, like, mangas. But, like, I want to be her. Like, I want all the time in the world to draw hentai and get paid for it. I don't know if she gets paid, but I'm assuming that she gets paid for it because, like, why else would she be doing it? But she live streams while she draws, you know? She's just like, and she's 13 or 12 or 11 or however old she is. And I'm like, shit, I'm old as fuck. Like, and I can't even do that shit. Like,
so is this show generally regarded as poor?
Yeah.
It is.
No,
okay.
Yeah. It's not written well. A lot of the circumstances are like not based in reality, like at all.
It has a reputation for being quite perverse, right?
Yeah, I mean she's a hentai artist, so like what, and she's a neat, so she doesn't ever leave her room. But like throughout the series, she like slowly leaves her room and she can like do things with other people. But to do things with other people, she like wants to draw you in a lewd pose for reference for her.
That's
because
cool.
That's the only way that she knows how to draw boobs is like looking at herself or whatever.
I would pose for her.
Right? I will pose for her too, bitch. If you give me pointers on how you doing that live stream.
Okay. So this was a 2017 show.
Yeah. Aramanga. And then Orimo
14.
I feel like is Orimo is by like the same author, I think.
Okay.
And Orimo was the first anime that one of the first anime that I watched, like when I was getting back into anime, and it's in the same vein. It's like about otakus doing otaku stuff and like, you know, little sisters and all that kind of stuff.
Never heard of it.
Which like the first three figures that are on top of my shelf are of Orimo. Kuroneko is my waifu. She's the best girl of
My waifu.
I mean, like, I love Kirino too, but Kuroneko just like speaks to my soul. She's like very passionate about being an otaku, and she'll like argue with you if she thinks like your opinion's really wrong. But yeah, Orimo and Aramanga.
Okay.
I'll get those two out of the way because those are like little softballs. Like everyone knows that about me, and I don't care. Like,
Dan, what do you think?
I don't spend enough time watching trashy anime, to be honest. I mean, I guess like in theory, you know, what is supposed to be embarrassing, School Days, but School Days is amazing, so I don't see how that would be embarrassing at all.
I think it's amazing.
It's arguable.
Too. I think school. I feel
brilliant.
like me and Dan argue a lot about anime, but like on School Days,
We agree. Yeah,
we
School
agree.
Days is truly great.
Like that is the thing that binds
It's just
us.
hot. Yeah.
That shit is so good.
Yeah.
Would you show it to your parents?
But I show it to my parents.
Mom, if you're watching, go watch School Days.
I would watch School Days with my dad, to be honest. I mean, it's a great piece of art.
I would probably be like, hey, Chelsea, do you want to watch anime? I'm going to put on the School Days because it's cool and I like it. And she'd be like, okay, whatever. And then I would be the one watching it and she would be like off doing something else.
Yeah. Listen, I never considered the litmus test of would you watch this with your parents as being a mark of something that could be embarrassing. This is also like I have a uniquely good and close relationship with my dad specifically. I mean, my parent, I play in a shitty band called Anal Butt, and my parents are on our 12-inch like making noise and helping us with the recording. So they are aware. My dad's walking around in a Lotus Fucker shirt in public. So they know, they're down,
Would you show it to your preacher?
I don't have one of
Who the fuck is preaching that?
I definitely, I feel like my family would just be like, if I put any kind of anime on, they would just be like, oh, that's just anime. Amelia likes anime. That's cool. It's just anime. Like, that's just what it is.
All the same.
But it wouldn't, they wouldn't know what they were watching or like seeing. Like, if it was perverted, they would just be like, Amelia, there's boobs in this. Why did you put this on right now? And I'd be like, because I like it. And then I would turn it off ultimately. But
I think if I had to choose something that I acknowledged was bad, but I genuinely enjoy anyway, it's Kuroko's Basketball. I was really shocked that Anime World Order gave that such a good review because I thought the show is just obviously not that good. It's like
really.
Well, because it's not like, and when we think about other sports anime, like like other sports anime, like Cross Game.
Oh, fucking Cross Game is the fucking shit, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm caught up. Can you put some more episodes on the Discord?
Yeah, I'll do that next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm getting caught up this week.
Thank you. I'm caught up in it, and I'm fucking. I need the episodes.
Yeah. I've fallen off track because I needed to rewatch Grey's Anatomy, but I'm gonna get back on track this week. I'm feeling back on top of things. Kuroko's Basketball, I feel like in comparison to something like Cross Game or Slam Dunk or any number of other sports anime that are really more like stories about these characters who happen to be into sports and they just write like very compelling, emotional or like character-driven stories, or even something like 1 Ounce, which is like not really about the characters. It's just like a really technical and interesting way of thinking about this sport, this chosen sport. And Kuroko's Basketball is like not really an interesting way of thinking about basketball, and it's not really like so well developed that it would have great character moments, or it's not like a great character-driven story in some way. It just kind of doesn't do anything all that well, in my opinion. And it comes across to me like this guy is making up the story as he goes along, insofar as like certain characters are introduced in random ways that make me feel like there's no foreshadowing, there's no sense that this was conceived in advance. It just feels like very random in a way that to me is a mark of bad quality and poor planning. But as I watched this show, I did genuinely enjoy it, and it really dawned on me that at a certain point, all I really need is for people to yell about their fighting spirit and how they'll never give in. As long as there's somebody on the screen yelling at me that they're never going to give up because of their burning, manly spirit that will never die. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, man. I ain't ever going to give up either. This is my shit, man. I feel this.
I just listened to AWO's review of Gurren Lagann.
Oh, yeah.
You mean Gurren Lagann?
Lagann, yes. And it's cool to go back and listen to a review of such a great show it's kind of, it's not come and gone, but it's still popular.
Yeah, it's never come and gone from my life. I just watched the first episode. I put Netflix on my parents' TV, and I watched the first episode of Gurren Lagann and the first episode of Kill la Kill with my dad.
Yeah.
And that's just still... Gurren Lagann?
Yes, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Well, they express the fact that we're talking about robot shows, super robot shows, and like the fighting spirit, and a lot of those tropes come from like Mazinger and Getter Robo. So I feel like we have a lot to pay, and not in debt, but other shows that have come and gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But guilty pleasure. Can they go back that far? Can it go back to the 60s and 70s?
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Not that far back, but one of them is Mad Bull 34.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
I've never even heard of this thing.
It's about a cop. And
me and Steven watched that.
yes,
together.
Yes.
you did watch it.
That's
Right.
right.
Steven
That's
loves
right.
that one.
Yeah.
It's sort of like what was what's his name?
Why would you feel guilty about that? That was a rock solid good show.
Okay, but it's not exactly
It's not
exactly
that
the
great.
best presence that it brings to the animes. I don't know.
The story is shit. I mean, okay, let's say
It's
it.
just
The first two
it's basically
episodes
like
are
Taxi,
good.
but like anime.
Yes, Taxi. I'm thinking of another one with Bad Cop, Bad Lieutenant.
That one. Shit,
It's like Bad Lieutenant, and like sort of this. I like the 80s New York aesthetic.
Yeah.
Kind of like Banana Fish. What Banana Fish should have been if they had just like stuck to the same decade. But the amount of violence and just like grotesque.
Fuck, man.
I just like sort of things that just don't really need to be there, but they are.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it good, in my opinion. Would I show it to my parents? No.
I don't know.
But
I would never
you know.
to anyone. That's like something that like you share with friends, and that's it.
Yeah, it fits into that whole OVA guilty pleasure box that I would have if treasure trove of these DVDs that would be in there. Mad Bull. And that goes along with Wicked City.
I was
well.
literally just about to say
Wicked City's a classic.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
It's a classic, but it is super gory and like sexual.
It's rapey.
But also, Crying Freeman. Hell yeah, bitches. Crying Freeman is like, I will talk about Crying Freeman for like until the end of time because I think it is so like good and gory and gritty and like bloody and sexual, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced we need to feel guilty about the gore and violence and aggressive sexuality of this era of anime. Now, I would argue that this stuff is like not necessarily good, or rather, I would say that it's not that these shows are bad because of these things. It's that these shows sometimes are bad, and they also have these things, and these are unrelated.
You gotta think outside of your own not circle or bubble, but like I can't think of really anyone. I can't think of anyone at work who watches anime who I could show this to.
Or like
that would be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, like
I
how
love this.
it would be perceived if you were to tell somebody, I love Mad Bull 34. You should watch it.
Right,
And
if
then
you
they
were to-
watch it and they're like, fuck, man, what is this guy into? This is like, woo, woo, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, you compare like Mad Bull or these shows like those classic OVAs to I don't know.
I feel like, dare I say hentai? Because it's not like you're about to share your hentai that you fap to with someone else as well.
Yeah,
this is like super gory, super like crazy sexual overtones, like, and then like hentai is basically like hentai. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be like, hey, Beach, you should check out this hentai. It's good.
Kiss X Sis, like, is that a guilty pleasure?
I mean,
not pleasurable.
Not pleasurable, but guilty. Guilty of
Guilty.
watching.
Not pleasurable,
Charged.
just guilty.
Just guilty that we watched it. No, but like literally, like honestly, like Kiss Sis is probably like my intro into ecchi because that was like the most ecchi show I had watched up until that point, and I didn't even realize like when I was watching Naruto and like all these other shows that I was like torrenting that like anime was that as well. It wasn't just like cartoons, but in Japanese, but it was like literally like there is a genre for everything, just like there is in like American or like Hollywood shows or TV or movies, you know? So like that was like, oh man, what am I watching? I don't know. Should I be watching it? I kind of like it. You know?
Yeah, I think anime gets a bad rap from a lot of people in regards of the the width and depth of anime as a medium. So I was talking about this with Eric on our road trip. He was like, "Well, I don't know. I don't like anime. Should I get into anime?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's kind of like asking if you should like get into Hollywood movies. Like, there's kind of." It's an art form. It's a medium. It covers a lot of ground. You know, like if like Amelia, like you and I, Amelia, have vastly different tastes, but we still each have our own like in depth and unique anime experiences that are equally valid and equally enjoyable and equally interesting, even though we've gone in very different directions in our lives in that way. So yeah, there's so much room to move around within anime. Like, yeah, you can watch trashy hyperviolence, hypersex stuff, or you can like watch mushishi, or you can watch giant robots, or you can watch teen dramas. There's a lot of different ways you could play it.
Yeah, there's not just one anime to describe them all, not one umbrella. And I had not to go too far off topic, but someone at work had asked if Avatar was anime or if Americans can make anime. And this can be a whole other topic for later, but like some girl at work got really offended because we told her that no, it, like, in my opinion, it has to be produced or manufactured in the studio setting of Japan. And even regardless of necessarily who animates it,
are you talking about like when they outsource?
Yeah, if you outsource the animation, it's still Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Because it was conceptualized in Japan. So she got really offended, and I just kept thinking of the Hollywood aspect of it. If it's made in Hollywood, it's a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
You don't go to Japan and we made a Hollywood movie. It's not fucking called a Hollywood movie.
That's an interesting point.
And I was thinking about it at work. And I'm like, this is the only argument I can think of that makes sense.
Yeah, I had never thought about it like that, but that's a really, really good way of framing it. It kind of changes my own opinion on this.
The studio system, right?
Yeah.
That's what created the Hollywood.
And Japanese movies, I feel like, use different cameras because you get a different quality in Japanese movies. And I think that's why I really love like live action anime adaptations, because it has like this weird like specifically Japanese quality to however they're filming everything that I just like really love.
Like really high frame rate almost.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Almost digitized.
It's so weird. But it's also in like newer stuff and older stuff like Ju-on.
Right.
And also like I also like really like love obscure Japanese horror movies from the 90s.
Hell yeah. I like Ichi the Killer.
Oh, yes.
That's the one that's always stuck with me.
Tetsuya Island.
Yeah, I have that on DVD. I used to have Ichi the Killer on DVD too, but I think I left it at an ex-girlfriend's house.
There's also like these weird Japanese movies that I was we're getting really off topic, but
that's our MO.
February 28th, or The Wishing Stairs, or Toll Booth. There's a lot of stuff that I've torrented, and
Just flashing a timer at us.
We were like, let's do it in 45 minutes, and Jeff set a timer, and we're already only at 8 minutes and we've only done one round of guilty pleasures.
Yeah. This is the problem when you like genuinely enjoy the company of the people you do this stuff with. It's hard to stay on topic.
Yeah. So back on topic.
I take responsibility for that one.
Okay.
All right, so your turn, Amelia.
Okay, so I'm going to give you two because I think they're from the same era. But Dear S. You guys
Never heard
Dear
of it.
S?
Yeah, I have a bootleg copy of that somewhere.
I fucking love Dear S. And then also like I My Me, Strawberry Eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And Ichigo 100%. You all know any of those?
Never heard of it.
Fucking, I torrented the shit out of those.
Yeah, that's like quintessential
like
beginning of 2000s, you know, as far as like
when I think that's probably when I was able to actually like get them like through torrenting, because like I definitely wouldn't have been able to get them like through like a legitimate release, but there were fan subs that were subbing those. And I think it had just been like just enough time had passed where people were able to get it and then upload it. But I feel like those shows specifically have like shaped my anime like tastes because a lot of them are ecchi, and like that's like what I like. If it's got an ecchi tag, like fucking shit, I'm in.
I think Green came out around the same time.
Fuck, I love Green.
I think we might have watched that.
We probably watched it together, but like I feel like I liked it a lot more than I should.
That's definitely a guilty pleasure. Green is some shit.
Green is shit, but I fucking love it, dude. Like just like kids being at camp and trying to like get with each other. Hell yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool.
I'm sorry if you want to look at my panties, like I'm gonna flash you because like I don't even give a shit. I would be one of those girls that's like, oh, you want to see them? Okay. I was like, that was an accident.
One time at band camp,
yeah,
I stuck a
flute in my pussy.
Oh, I was gonna stop before we
So this show sounds pretty good to me.
Who? What?
The Green.
Green.
I'm having nostalgia for it right
I
now.
fucking love Green.
Maybe we should watch some of that later.
Or Popo Town.
Oh, okay. I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All those shows are like, just like, they're so good. I know they're terrible. I know the animation is terrible. I know the story is terrible. But I just freaking love watching them. The one guy in Ichigo 100% is literally on the search for finding this girl that he stumbled upon. She like fell off of like a roof or something. She fell from the sky and he caught a glimpse of her strawberry panties. And he's like, damn, that girl was so cute. I just need to like find out who she is and date the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's the concept.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Yeah, it's good. I should watch it.
I think Onegai Teacher was. I was just throwing her out there. That was around the same time.
Like Please Teacher and Please Twins.
Please Twins. Yeah, I watched a little bit of Please Twins. I'm thinking of Excel Saga right now.
It's on my list of things to watch. Actually,
I feel like Excel
pleasure.
Saga though is like quintessential like watch material just because it was the start of everything.
It's an isekai one, right?
No,
it's just very slapstick, over the top, anime comedy.
I feel like
maybe I'm thinking of something different.
A lot of the jokes in Excel Saga are jokes that were like coined at that point in time, and that anime carries over to now.
I don't know if it would hold up nowadays.
Okay, I think me and Steven watched a couple episodes of this along the way, and I think it is on my list of things to watch. But, I'll get to it when I get to it.
I feel like that about JoJo.
We'll get to it when you get to it.
Yeah.
It could be years from now.
Yeah, on the one hand, that's fair, but on the other hand,
I told you at the beginning of the year that my one goal for the year is to watch JoJo.
Yeah, you should. This is the time. JoJo's is blowing the fuck up. That's what everybody's up on.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the first season.
First season's fucking great.
Oh, but I didn't like it that much. I was like, man, I don't care about these people in England. Can we get to a little bit more of a modern time here?
Yeah.
But then, like, we've also watched the first like few episodes of the 5th season of JoJo's when it was airing.
I love the 5th season. Yeah,
But then, and also, I've seen the first few episodes of the 3rd season, which I like coined that as like almost the best Otaku of all time because it was such a fun experience, like watching JoJo's with like a shit ton of people who love JoJo's.
Yeah, that's to me that's the best part of one of the best parts of conventions is watching premieres and things like that with groups.
The premiere, and then like I don't think you may or may not have been with us, but when we watched like Kite, the live action with Samuel L. Jackson, that was fucking so fun.
That is a guilty pleasure.
That is
Kite, Kite, what do you want to call it, man? That shit's garbage. Straight up garbage.
Is it?
It's basically Leon the Professional as an anime.
I actually really enjoyed it.
I did too. I like it a lot too. But it's just style over substance in a way.
Yeah.
And the girl is just like this guy's sex slave, essentially.
Is she cute?
Prostitute. She is.
Sounds cool. I'd watch it.
Jen, you got to go next. Another guilty pleasure.
I'm not sure what I really feel guilty about. I mean,
It's got to be. It just has to be an anime that is like widely regarded as like not good, but that you like. You don't have to feel guilty about it.
I feel kind of like a degenerate when I fap to anime.
Oh damn, he's already going there. Shit. I was hoping I'd have like a few more minutes before that happens.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, people should be into whatever they're into.
What you fap to, Dan?
I like Scum's Wish.
Okay.
Because and I like it's the emotional dynamic of sexual relations that is more interesting to me than the physical act, and I think a lot of anime does better. A lot of anime in doujin and whatnot does better at painting the kind of emotional picture that I find appealing and exciting in comparison to just watching two people having sex, which doesn't really do anything for me. But also, I'm like, I too am a scumbag degenerate. Happen to the 2D world.
Have you seen NTR Trap?
No, but I bet I'd like it.
It's like a 15-minute short form kind of anime that I heard it like 3 years ago or something. I would be interested in what you would think about that one.
Yeah, I'd give that a watch.
It's like it's only 15 minutes per episode, but it's all about like crazy relationships and like making people jealous of everyone and stuff like that.
That's what I find so hot about School Days as well. That it's like every sexual interaction in there is naughty. It's emotionally naughty. That's what makes it so exciting, in a sexy way for me. The only real proper hentai I ever sat down and actually watched was The Legend of the Overfiend, because I got the whole box set, the whole VHS box set along the way, so I watched all the movies.
Damn.
That's a guilty pleasure in my opinion.
That's just legendary. It's a historical document.
Are we just throwing out hentais like Bible Black and like Bondage Mansion?
Black's hot too.
Vampire Vixen.
The Blue Girl.
How do you like that one?
Bleh.
Kanojo, X Kanojo, X Kanojo.
I haven't seen all these, but I bet I'd like them. Or Discipline. I used to watch Discipline.
Temptation.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Icky Towson. There's no hentai in that, but I'm thinking of girls fighting and scantily clothes, cleavage.
Okay, so another guilty pleasure, Saber Marionette J.
Not very good, but nostalgic.
Never heard of it.
Damn it.
I feel bad. This is all like this is a different kind of anime than I normally dig into.
I think Steve has all these probably too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. He's like he's basically collecting everything 90s.
Yeah, I mean the art style is the same kind of art style in Idol Project 1995, which I talked about in the last episode. I love that art style, like their faces and their huge ass fucking eyes. Dude.
Yeah,
like
anything that was
like
popular at the point.
Yeah, like I'm gonna eat up, even if it's like shit.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what's another guilty pleasure?
I think I already mentioned Hamtaro, but magical girl shows.
No, you do not like magical girl shows.
I don't love them, but I feel guilty
You
watching
always
them.
talk.
It's
You
one of the
always talk
few.
about. You always talk like you don't watch them.
Yeah, but that. He feels guilty when he watches it.
Yeah.
Shit.
See, I feel. Yeah, when I'm sitting alone watching a 12-year-old girl transform. She's talking to little animals.
They're always naked.
They're transforming.
When they transform.
I'm like, why am I watching this? Why is this
I mean,
entertaining?
you're allowed to watch it.
Which
magical girl shows then?
Well-written characters like Madoka Magica is like a really reasonable type show to get into, even if there's little girls transforming.
I'm not gonna hate you for it, even though I didn't like it.
If she were a live action character, would it make a difference?
Which magical girl shows do you like, Jeffrey? I need to
In the last episode, I think I mentioned Fancy Lala.
Well, yeah, okay. We all like Fancy Lala.
That's and Creamy Mommy. Creamy Mommy is a
Creamy Mommy. We
classic.
all like Creamy Mommy.
Yes.
Come on.
And
Get
there
into
was
the juicy stuff.
I think that's a really interesting question. The idea that if these were live action shows, would that dynamic change?
Let him tell us his magical girl shows.
Okay, sorry.
There was one I had mentioned last episode as well that I can't remember. Maybe I found that afterwards.
I'm generally so curious.
Sailor Moon?
It can't be Sailor Moon.
Oh, Sailor Moon's one. I watched all of Sailor Moon.
He says,
Card
Eric
Captor
Dozer.
Sakura.
I watched that. I haven't watched it in a
I
while.
swear if you have not watched that one, I'll kill you.
I mean, I'm talking
That
about
one's
shows.
the best one. Or fucking, I'm staring at them right now. My Ray Earth girls.
Okay, yes, I've watched all of Ray Earth. So Ray Earth is another good example of a show I felt a little guilty about watching. So anything, I like Clamp. I'm not gonna say anything Clamp. I like X, but that was pretty good.
You better have liked Chobits or we're not friends.
I like Chobits.
I don't like Chobits.
Fuck you, Dan.
I liked it, but I think it was shit at the end
It
of the
is
day.
shit, but you know what? It's so good.
I like the concept at first, and then they just took it and threw it out the window.
I love Chobits. I think Chobits is one of those anime that you could watch subbed, you could watch dubbed, you could watch with your friends, you could watch with your fam. She turns on through a button in her vagina, but you know what? Don't we all?
Overhyped.
Damn it.
Yeah, I watched it in college. I don't even remember anything about it beyond the feeling like I wasted my time and I didn't like it.
I have a literal tattoo of Chi.
That's cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw you got the Chobits over here, too.
Yeah,
The manga for it.
Yes. Yes.
What was the other one that came out right around the same time?
I mean, DRS
Nurse.
is really like.
What was it? Nurse one.
Someone has listed Kill la Kill as a magical girl anime, and I'd strongly object to that.
It has elements of
They
transforming characters.
I think you can. Is that really all you need to do to be a magical girl?
I mean,
You transform to a character to fight evil.
yeah. I mean, it has a lot of the classic elements. The tone's a lot different.
Yeah, I think of this as this is the pure burning manly spirit of this young woman, fighting against destiny to assert her agency. It's one of my favorite shows ever. I never looked at these people and felt like these girls are so magical. I felt like I too acknowledge your burning fighting spirit that never goes out.
I have been like, damn, I wish I could wear that suit the way they wear their suit.
Yeah, it's fair.
Fuck. That's a lot of gym time.
Aromatic was the show. But anyway, Kill la Kill, yeah.
What was the point?
If all these magical girl shows were live action, would it be more, less, or equally appropriate for adult men to watch them? I'm going to say that they are equal.
I will agree.
I mean, how many grown men watch Dora, or Dora, or
You mean Dora the Explorer?
Dora the Explorer?
I'm not sure if Dora the Explorer is the best animal. If you're a grown man watching Dora the Explorer, then I think that is embarrassing.
Oh my god. You said Dora.
Dora.
You said Dora Doro. Or Dororo. That was amazing. That was amazing. That's okay. You better keep that in.
You know what I meant.
I did. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Geoff
Yeah.
secretly likes magical girl shows.
I don't mind them.
What about idol
I'm gonna watch
shows?
That's one genre I cannot
But
watch.
but
Or could be tempted to watch.
you like lacrosse.
Yes, but I wouldn't call it an idol show. It has an idol in it. Doesn't make it an idol show, though. First and foremost, it's a robot show.
Yeah. First and foremost, is a giant robot show. I agree.
Alright.
Yeah.
Let's let.
This conversation is making me feel like I should watch an idol show of some sort because I don't think I've ever actually seen one.
Maybe that's another episode. Well, there's one that's supposed to be really good. It's
Love Live.
maybe it is.
I mean, Love Live is the
Yeah,
quintessential idol show.
I think that's
Love
what.
Live is,
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one everyone's like.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Idolmaster? That's what makes prevents Berserk from getting done.
Idolmaster. Another idol show in my brain socket.
Does K-On! Count as an idol show?
No, it's a band anime.
That's cool. Oh, yeah, maybe I should watch that.
Band animes are the fucking
best.
best. If you need a band anime, I have 20 that
20
you can
different
watch.
band animes.
That's an exaggeration. I have
word.
like at least 7 that you can watch.
Oh shit.
That I've watched that I think that I need you to watch because then
I think I need to watch them too.
because then I could talk to you about
The
it.
only one I've really saw Beck Mongolian Chop Squad is the one that I'm so attached to, and I'm going to assume that's probably the most obvious one.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's like K-On!, there's Bang Dream.
Yeah, I was talking about Bang Dream with a friend of mine.
Have you guys watched Full Moon Osagashite?
No, but another
Cute Adventure?
another guilty pleasure anime of mine is Tsukiyomi Moon Phase, which like has been lost through time.
Yes.
Like nobody talks about that, but that was like one of my first cosplays that I made completely, entirely from scratch. And I'm actually like I have an appointment in a couple months to get a Hazuki tattoo.
Oh yeah,
And I have a Hazuki figure right over there on the shelf if you all want.
That has been lost in time, hasn't it?
But I love that anime. I love Hazuki. That's a good anime. About a vampire girl who's trying to make the main character her slave, and she may or may not succeed. I don't know. You're gonna have to find out and then tell me about it.
All right.
I have a lot of guilty pleasures. I'm just gonna rattle them off. You guys trying to wrap up or something? Because I'm just gonna rattle them off.
Rattle them off.
All right. Getting I guess a little bit nostalgic. The Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan. Love that anime. So good. I love all the blood.
There's a lot of blood.
Yeah, and you know what? There are lots of other people that love that anime because the last Otaku we went to, there was a cosplayer who I literally ran from one end of the hallway to the other to get a picture of because I love Dokuro-chan so much.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Ready for another one? Do you guys have any more?
No.
Just that material?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't spend more time watching anime like this.
Because you guys love good anime, and that's it. You only watch good anime.
I've spent all my time watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, all of One Piece. I listened to the Legend of the Galactic Heroes OPs as I was driving over here from my parents' house. That's how I think about that show every day. You know, like
I still think about it. I haven't finished it.
Admiral Yang, give me strength.
I made it about halfway through, and I still think about that show. So it's calling me. I'll get to it eventually.
I'm gonna rewatch it when I move back. I think that'll be the first order of business when I move back to begin my I don't know, my new life as a changed man back in Baltimore.
Yeah, born again Baltimorean.
Yeah, born again Baltimorean to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes again. I don't know, maybe Eureka 7. I'm willing to believe that Eureka 7 is actually a bad show, but I do really love it.
I'm willing to, when you move back, rewatch that with you.
Oh hell yeah! I bought the special edition DVDs as they came out. I got the whole damn thing.
The whole damn shit.
I got the whole damn shit.
The whole damn shit.
Eureka 7 was a big formative show for me because it was watching Eureka 7 on Adult Swim in college that got me kind of more hooked on anime than I ever had been before.
Then how come you didn't come with me when at Otakon they had the new movie premiere?
Yeah, I don't want them to make more.
Oh, okay.
The ending is the ending of Eureka 7 is perfect, and all the reviews for everything like Astral Ocean and all the new movies, like have just gotten such bad press and bad critical review across the board. I'm just not willing to give it a chance, to be honest, because I don't want to be disappointed. Because the original is like arguably not that great to begin with. So if it's even worse, then how much is it really going to do for me?
I mean, you couldn't even watch it because the subtitles were covered up by everybody's head, but.
Yeah. It's the Otaku experience.
I know. Do you have any guilty pleasures?
No, not off the top of my head. I struggled to make a list.
Damn.
I really did.
I have a fucking whole ass list.
I'm looking on my Crunchyroll for another show that it's arguably not that good, but I did kind of enjoy it.
So I'm probably going to make everyone who is a fan of the Fate series cringe with this.
Well, I want to get into Fate. Actually.
Because I haven't actually dived into Fate, but I have dove headfirst into Fate Khaled Liner Prisma Ilia, which is like a spin-off of some of the main characters as middle school girls who do sexy stuff to each other.
Whoa. All right. Is it just panty shots or is it all alluding to sex?
There's this character, Chloe, who does most of the looting. She's very forward with her feelings and her emotions. And Ilya is Ilya's the receiver of all of these feelings. And yeah. I haven't dove into Fate, but I really enjoy me some Fate Khaled Liner.
Yeah, I want to get into Fate, and I remember. I mean, Fate has always been a franchise that lurks in the background of anime to me. But I remember when I flew out to go see So Thread on the West Coast tour, and I went to their show in San Francisco, and I kind of overheard these people next to me talking about anime. So because I'm an idiot, I butted into their conversation like, "Oh, you guys are at a punk show talking about anime? Let's talk about anime, man! Hell yeah!" And this young woman works as a school teacher and is way into cosplaying, and she was really championing the Fate franchise to me. It's like, oh, you got to get into Fate. That's just the best shit, like it's so cool. You got to start with this one and yada yada yada. Oh yeah, okay, I'll get into Fate. Sure, I'll fucking watch this stuff. And yeah, a couple years later, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my mind. It is a priority to watch all these Fate shows.
Yeah. And
Maybe we should start a weekly watch of Fate.
That'd be cool. I would do that.
I would do that only if other people were watching it though, so I could talk about it. Because if I'm watching it by myself, like I ain't watching that shit.
Yeah,
feel that.
I'd do that. I'd do that after Cross Game.
Is Kill a Kill a
Guilty pleasure?
guilty pleasure?
I mean, it's on
I
a guilty
literally
pleasure.
just watched it with my dad, so I would say no.
I would if you Google guilty pleasure animes, it's on at least one of the lists.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at.
People have, they feel too much shame.
I have no shame. What you want to know, I'll watch. I'll tell you anything.
Yeah. Shame is a big part of it. Like the shame monster in Big Mouth.
Yeah, why do we feel shame about these things? Because we shouldn't, Everybody's into those
I
kind of
don't feel no
stuff.
shame.
Yeah.
What you want to know about me?
But we have to admit that there's some sort of sexual deviance in Japanese culture that it's probably not talked about or not open, but it's sort of like we have these desires.
Well, I feel like because
and
nobody's
no one's acting on them.
Yeah, nobody's outwardly sexual, and
Yeah.
usually in their appearance or how they or how they present themselves. Whereas, like in our culture, we definitely do that.
Yeah, Geoff
We
looks
leave-
fucking hunky right now.
Oh shit! His arm is up behind his head and everything.
Boy, better watch out.
But
Watch the Instagram.
but yeah, so I feel like we're just way more open with our sexuality over on this side of the world, whereas like you're not in Japan. So
Yeah.
it gives rise to all of these anime that have sexual undertones and whatnot.
Yeah. You have to agree that Japanese are sexually oppressed.
I mean, they got a lot
Or
of fetishes.
repressed. Yeah.
They got a lot of fetish happening over there.
Tons of fetishes.
Like,
And their marriage and birth rates are really declining.
yeah, so much so that
last
they
decade.
usually use anime as ads for birthing things. Wear your Sailor Moon condom. because it looks cute.
Yeah, I remember years ago I read a theory about how the Japanese people will be extinct within the next couple hundred years because the birth rate just continues to plummet, and they think that's not going to reverse.
Man, but they get some edgy anime coming out of there, though. So, like,
Yeah.
I know you'd be thinking about that when you're laying in bed at night.
A little edgy. But next episode, we got to discuss the animation economy and just the anime industry as a whole and what animators get paid.
Yeah.
We found a few articles. I found actually one from a couple of years ago, and
Cool.
it's perfectly with the Netflix one we watched.
A couple of years ago.
I was about to go 5 years ago.
Sorry, hold on. A couple of years ago. What are we in Highlander now? We have transported to Highlander times.
I apologize for calling your wife a bloated warthog. And I bid you good day. Shoot him, sir. What? Shoot him? Now, sir. Now, sir. In the back of the head. Now, sir. Hotskins.
Yeah.
Hotskins.
We're gonna do that in the coming episode. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it sometime.
Yeah, I think that's a good topic worth talking about.
Yeah. So there's some closing thoughts as before we eat some Indian food.
Yeah. Closing thought. You shouldn't feel shame. There's no, everybody's into their own weird stuff. There's no shame.
Consume all the
being
edge you
in what
want.
you're into. Yeah.
There's no shame in it.
What you do in your private time is, for you and you alone.
You want to watch Dora the Explorer?
Or if you're a 30-something-year-old adult that wants to watch Dora the Explorer.
Go have with your bad self.
Yeah, if you want to watch Teletubbies,
Just don't
that's
watch
fine.
hentai right after. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
If you want to watch Legend of the Overfiend 10 times in a row, then just go ahead.
Just do it. Because you know what? Nobody's watching.
Except for the people from America's Most Wanted.
Tracking your every move.
Well, they got all of
Working in your
our.
closet. The one place the police haven't looked, huh?
Well, they have all of our names because we all watched Bible Black together at Otaku. So, or Bondage Mansion. That's the one.
Right.
Bondage Mansion. I'll be damned. Well, thanks for listening to our bonus podcast episode.
Where we're all together.
At last. At last, yes. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the dream sequence, you know?
You want to do plugs? Or do a...
I mean, I can do the plugs real quick. Do we have any new Discord members?
Sean.
I already said Sean in the last episode.
Sean, Chris.
Oh, word.
Sean and Chris.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you know what? My friend from work. From my old work.
So this is really starting to butt heads with the idea of like what we feel shame with, and as we like, oh, hey Sean, who I used to live with in college and has been my friend for so long, let's sit down and talk about Bible Black.
In case you didn't know, I liked Bible Black, and we talking about it.
Cat's out of the bag.
You're not gonna edit this. Okay, cool. So let's get into some new Discord members. Okay. Thanks to our new Discord member Abakashi for joining. Hopefully I did not butcher that. We debated for quite some time about that one. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. If you want to check out any more of our episodes or listen to us wherever you're listening, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or what's the one? Anchor?
Yeah, Anchor. We use Anchor as our main distro, if you will.
They put us out on everything. Also, check out our Instagram at the Otaku Host Club and join our Discord so you can talk to us whenever you want.
And our website is www.otakuhostclub.com. You can find all our episodes there, plus the episode we did with Otaku Melancholy.
Ooh, love those boys.
Yeah, so I bought a giant box of all the on sale DVDs from Right Stuff using the gift card that Matt graciously got me for my birthday. It was very kind of him.
Aww.
But I will post everything I got on the Discord.
Yes,
like a good member of this podcast.
Wonderful. I also bought a lot of 18 plus manga that I will have my eye on with the gift card.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Matt, I used your money for degeneracy.
I bought a One Piece clock.
Ooh. I'm not going to tell you which ones I bought because that would reveal too much.
Yeah, as we think about shame and whatnot, I also like when I do the video conferencing for work, I like have meetings at work on video. I always set my computer up on like physically on my turntable so the camera is shooting onto all my anime toys and my record collection and shit. So yeah, I'm like talking to all these talking to my boss and all these big, I went to my virtual awards ceremony when I got an award at work, and it's the head of the BLS is like talking about me, and in the background here's the Ryoko from Kill la Kill, all that stuff,
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a good conversation starter, right? Like, my coworkers are like, "Oh, you're into records? That's cool." So, fuck yeah, I'm into records, man. Got a lot of them.
This episode will be out next week. Or rather, there'll be 2 episodes back to back, from week to week.
Yeah, we're going to have this episode out.
Episodes on episodes.
Oh shit, we producing shit like we real podcasters or something.
Yeah.
We're going to have an episode out this week and next week.
And then the week after, huh?
Oh shit.
We're going for it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Coming down the pike, we have Sakura Diaries review.
Yes, because I love that anime and I wanted everyone to watch it and then I want to discuss it.
Yeah. I've never seen it before. I've never even heard of it prior to us bringing it up, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then we have Toshikon 10th
movies,
anniversary for him.
Yes.
For his passing, and anime trivia is coming as soon eventually.
Anime music trivia. Jeff.
Anime music trivia. Yes. That's very specific.
So that's a lot of stuff you can look forward to.
Yeah, you can ask me all about the lyrics to The Legend of the Galactic Galaxy. I will remember them.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks again.
We're signing out.
ニューヨーク娘は恋もラジカセもリモコンです。
リモコンロー